Chaos erupted in the gospel world this week as shocking videos surfaced, showing Andria Johnson in a state that has left fans stunned and the SDA Church scrambling for answers. But that's not all. Pastor Carlton Byrd and church leaders are now facing intense scrutiny for their involvement, and insiders are begging one question: should this woman ever be booked again? Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear could change the way you see gospel ministry forever. In today's video, we're diving deep into a story that has rocked the gospel and Christian community. Andria Johnson, a once celebrated gospel singer, has found herself at the center of controversy after recent incidents left many questioning her professional and personal choices. But this isn't just about one artist. It involves high-profile figures like Pastor Carlton Byrd and raises serious questions about the role of the SDA Church in handling such situations. We'll break down every detail, including what happened during the incident, how church leaders responded, and why this has sparked outrage across social media. You'll also hear insider perspectives and facts you won't get anywhere else. By the end of this video, you'll understand the full story and the broader implications for the gospel community. Stick around, because in just a few moments, we'll reveal moments that insiders say were completely shocking, and you won't believe what happened behind the scenes. It all started when videos and reports began circulating online showing Andria Johnson in a state that many described as alarming and unprofessional. Fans immediately noticed something was off. Her behavior on stage and in public appearances appeared erratic, and speculation started spreading like wildfire. Social media exploded with reactions, ranging from concern to outrage, and the hashtag Andria Johnson drama started trending within hours. But the situation wasn't just about what people saw in a video clip. Insiders revealed that this incident was part of a growing pattern of struggles that had reportedly been ongoing for months. Sources close to Johnson claimed she was dealing with personal challenges behind the scenes, challenges that the public had no knowledge of. Some church members say they tried to intervene privately, but the response from leadership was confusing at best. This incident raised immediate questions about responsibility. Should the venue or event organizers have noticed something was wrong? How much oversight does the SDA Church have over artists who perform at their events? And more importantly, what role does Pastor Carlton Byrd play in this unfolding controversy? Just as fans were trying to process the shocking videos, another revelation came to light. Insiders claimed there were private conversations and warnings that were allegedly ignored, leading to the very public spectacle everyone witnessed. Some even suggest that the church's reputation is now on the line, as critics argue that allowing Johnson to perform in this state could be seen as negligence. But here's the twist that has everyone talking. It isn't just one event. Multiple sources hint that there were other incidents leading up to this moment, moments that, if made public, could completely reshape how people view gospel ministry accountability. And this is where the controversy deepens, because what happened behind closed doors might be even more shocking than the videos circulating online. As the videos of Andria Johnson began to circulate, the spotlight quickly shifted to Pastor Carlton Byrd, a prominent figure in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Many fans and insiders started asking, why wasn't there intervention sooner? What role did Pastor Byrd play in either enabling or addressing the situation? Sources suggest that Pastor Byrd has a long-standing relationship with Johnson and had personally worked with her on several church events and gospel performances. Some insiders allege that he was aware of her struggles, yet continued to book her for high-profile appearances. Critics argue that this decision raises serious questions about accountability. Was it a lack of judgment, a blind faith in her talent, or something more complex happening behind the scenes? The SDA Church also came under scrutiny. Social media erupted with calls for the church to take a stand, yet their initial response was minimal. Official statements were vague, carefully worded, and left many unsatisfied. Observers noted that the church seemed to be walking a fine line, wanting to support an artist while also protecting their institutional reputation. Revealed that there were meetings behind closed doors in which church leaders discussed Johnson's behavior. Some sources say there were warnings issued to her management team, urging that she not perform until certain personal matters were addressed. However, these warnings were allegedly ignored, resulting in the highly publicized incident. This raises critical questions. How often are such warnings overlooked? And what does it mean for the standards of accountability in gospel ministry? Adding fuel to the fire, leaked messages, and social media chatter suggest that some within the church were frustrated with the perceived lack of decisive action. Certain voices even criticized Pastor Byrd directly, questioning whether he was prioritizing Johnson's talent over her well-being, or the well-being of the congregation. Fans began debating. Should pastors be responsible for the personal lives of artists they support, or is that crossing a line? The controversy doesn't stop there. As more insider accounts surfaced, a pattern seemed to emerge, one that hints at potential systemic issues within the church regarding how artists and ministry figures are managed. Some critics argue that Johnson's situation could be a symptom of a larger problem, a culture that sometimes prioritizes performance and popularity over accountability and personal care. But just when it seemed like things couldn't get more complicated, a shocking revelation emerged. A trusted insider hinted that there may be other incidents involving Johnson and church events that the public hasn't yet seen, incidents that could change how fans view both the artist and the leadership that supports her. And here's the kicker. Some of these incidents allegedly involved serious breaches of protocol and expectations, the details of which insiders say are even more explosive than what we've already seen in the videos. As the news of Andria Johnson's incident spread, social media became a battlefield. Fans, fellow gospel artists, and even casual observers flooded platforms with reactions, opinions, and heated debates. Within hours, hashtags like #Andria Johnson drama, #SDA Church controversy, and #Pastor Carlton Byrd began trending. Some posts expressed concern and empathy, urging fans not to judge too harshly, while others criticized the artist and church leadership, claiming the incident was avoidable. On Instagram, one fan wrote, "She's talented, but this is beyond what anyone should ignore. Someone had to step in sooner." On Twitter, others pointed fingers directly at the SDA Church, questioning why church authorities allowed her to perform when clear warning signs were evident. The divide in the audience was palpable. Some defended Johnson's struggles as human, others condemned her choices and the church's response as irresponsible. But it wasn't just casual fans voicing opinions. Influential gospel figures, pastors, and commentators weighed in, amplifying the controversy. Some suggested that Pastor Carlton Byrd and other leaders should publicly address the situation in a much more transparent way. Others went further, implying that repeated incidents could damage the reputation of gospel ministry itself. Videos and posts analyzing her behavior and church involvement started going viral, with thousands of shares, comments, and reactions every hour. This widespread attention created a ripple effect across the gospel industry. Event organizers, promoters, and church ministries began reevaluating whether they should book Johnson for future events. Some insiders hinted that she might face booking restrictions or that churches could reconsider inviting her until the controversy settles. This caused even more debate among fans and insiders alike. Should an artist be judged solely on one public incident, or should their entire track record be considered? Meanwhile, commentary channels and gossip blogs jumped on the story, dissecting every clip and leaked message. Some suggested that the controversy might trigger long-term consequences for Johnson's career. Others warned that if the church fails to take clear action, it could set a precedent that prioritizes celebrity over accountability, a warning many believe could affect the integrity of gospel ministry for years to come. The controversy even reached beyond the gospel world. National news outlets picked up the story, highlighting the tension between celebrity culture, faith leadership, and personal accountability. This exposure has intensified pressure on the SDA Church and Pastor Byrd to act decisively and transparently. Even more intense. Insiders hint that the social media storm is only the tip of the iceberg. There are reports of private conversations, behind-the-scenes disagreements, and even possible internal disciplinary actions that have not been made public. If these details surface, they could completely redefine how the public perceives this incident and potentially expose more troubling patterns within the ministry community. While the public has only seen clips and heard rumors, insiders paint a far more complicated and shocking picture of what's been happening behind the scenes. According to multiple sources within the gospel industry and church circles, Andria Johnson's struggles were not sudden. They were part of a series of incidents that church leaders, including Pastor Carlton Byrd, allegedly knew about, but chose to handle quietly. Some insiders reveal that there were private meetings with Johnson in which concerns about her behavior were raised. In these meetings, it is claimed that church leadership offered counseling and support, but also issued warnings about professional conduct during public performances. However, sources suggest that the follow-through may have been inconsistent, leaving gaps that ultimately contributed to the viral incident that shocked fans worldwide. One particularly compelling insider account claims that Johnson had previously shown signs of distress during other high-profile events, moments that never made it to social media. Witnesses describe incidents where her performance was interrupted by erratic behavior, causing organizers and church officials to scramble to maintain order. Yet, according to these insiders, instead of temporarily suspending bookings or limiting public appearances, decisions were made to continue scheduling her, prioritizing audience appeal and event success over careful oversight. Adding another layer to the controversy, sources close to the SDA Church suggest that there were disagreements within church leadership on how to handle the situation. Some leaders reportedly advocated for stricter intervention and professional guidance, while others were concerned about public perception and the potential backlash from fans and media. These internal conflicts may explain the delayed response and the vague public statements that left many fans feeling unsatisfied. There are also whispers of personal conflicts and tension between Johnson and certain church figures. Some insiders claim that her outspoken personality and past disagreements with leadership complicated the way these incidents were addressed. Instead of creating a transparent support system, some argue that church politics and image management took priority, leaving the artist to navigate personal challenges largely on her own. Perhaps the most shocking revelation comes from sources hinting that the viral incident was not isolated. Allegedly, there are other incidents, documented in private recordings and messages, that suggest patterns of behavior and situations that, if made public, could significantly impact Johnson's career and the church's reputation. These are not mere rumors. Insiders insist they have verifiable accounts of meetings, warnings, and even interventions that were largely ignored or poorly handled. What makes these revelations even more alarming is the implication for the gospel community at large. If one artist's struggles can become this public and controversial, what does it say about how ministry organizations handle accountability, mental health, and professional conduct behind closed doors? Many are now asking, are church leaders equipped to manage high-profile artists, or is the pressure of fame and performance creating cracks that eventually explode in public?